Well, this is Chris. He's 27, and according to him, he's already led a pretty impressive life. He's been an airline pilot, has made up to $12,000 a month working for a luxury car dealership, and his friends have been among the social elite. He claims to be an active and loving father to his 2-year-old son, and is proactive in his marriage to his lovely wife, Melisa. In fact, he even went to therapy, and his therapist said, quote, he is going to be a great husband, provider, and spiritual leader. Sounds like a pretty stand-up guy, right? I mean, come on. Well, not according to his wife, Melisa, who claims Chris is in fact a pathological liar. And all of these things he has claimed are simply not true. Melisa is desperate to get help because she's now 16 weeks pregnant with their second child. So she says time is of the essence. Is Chris making up these elaborate lies? If he is he going to tell the truth today? Has he been honest with us so far? Well, I have it on good authority that he has been watching episodes of the Dr. Phil Show. He has been studying me for days on end, every day, all day, to get ready to deal with me. So here we go. But before we meet Chris, let's hear what Melisa has to say.
Chris is a pathological liar. If I could guess how many times Chris has lied to me over 5 years, you would laugh. There's no number. Literally, insanely, every day, all day. Chris will lie about the most ridiculous things, from if he even brushed his teeth today and what he ate for lunch. And some of the lies are very serious. One of the bigger lies that Chris has told is a very elaborate story. He walked into a real estate office into this beautiful, luxurious community, told them that he was a pilot, and we were very interested in buying the Manchester model. Told them that we had already been approved for a loan. This was over a $500,000 house, and it was just a made-up story. Another lie was when he got fired. This was his most recent job. There was a period where I didn't even know that he had lost his job. I found out after the fact. He was literally gone all day long, hanging out at the grocery store the whole time. I believe that Chris is a full-blown sociopath. Chris will make you believe that he has remorse. Chris lies about having remorse. In the beginning of our relationship, I was so smitten by our chemistry. He's a good-looking guy. He was very fit, and I never dated those type of people. There's so many red flags in the beginning, but I was very oblivious. Love is blind. Because of Chris's lies, we've separated. I am in a very scary, vicious cycle with him because I just get sucked in. I can't get out. He has me convinced even right now that he is going to change. I'm already in my mind thinking that he has the capability of doing it.
Well, Melisa says lying isn't Chris's only problem. In the 5 years she's known him, she says he struggled to hold down a job and has resorted to stealing money from her.
I have supported Chris 100%. He's probably had a total of maybe 5 jobs in 5 years. And the average length of a job lasted maybe 3 to 4 months. I have been the only one that's kept a stable job. I have always been the one paying the bills, keeping our roof over the head, keeping food in our tummies, you name it. After we got married, things got worse. Chris would write checks in his name and cash them and get money fraudulently. Because Chris has taken so much money, I've had to cancel numerous accounts. One time, I woke up about ready to pay some bills. My account was down to 90 cents. 90 cents to a mother of 2 kids, not paying my rent yet, bills being due. I still didn't leave him at that point. You would think at that point I would have said, get out.
Well, Chris admits that he has a problem with lying since he was just a kid, but he says if it wasn't for Melisa's Hulk-like temper, he would probably own up to his lies a lot faster. So really, in a sense, this is her fault.
My wife, Melisa, doesn't believe a word I say. I've lied about basically everything with her. I say it, it comes out, and then I just kind of forget it. Melisa has a temper. She yells with so many situations, and she's just so angry, you know, like really angry, like Hulk. She's hit me in the face, slap first time, slap second time, and then punched this the last time. If she would just sit down and say, look, Chris, did you lie to me about this? Instead of just going right for the cutthroat, samurai sword, cut my head off maneuver, you know, it would be, you know what, yeah, I did, I'm sorry. So yeah, if she did, you know, just sit down and talk to me instead of yelling, it would help. I do not blame Melisa for not trusting me. It's been my fault. Ultimately, I want Melisa to be proud of me. I want her to respect me and to be her Prince Charming. Bam.
Okay. So what's your strategy in being here today?
To get the right help that I need and move forward with my relationship with Melisa and family.
No, that's your goal. What's
Right.
your strategy?
Strategy.
Everybody comes into a situation and they have a strategy about how to play that situation.
Right. My
You
strategy.
studied me.
Right.
What'd you come away with? What'd you decide was the best way to play me?
No way. No way.
Well, the good news is I don't have a lot to say to you
Okay.
yet.
Okay.
On the other hand, I have a lot to say to you.
I'm sure.
What the hell are you thinking?
I knew you were going to say that.
What? No, what? Seriously? Seriously?
Yeah.
This guy's been lying to you from day one, minute one, right? Yeah. I kind of made a list.
Yeah. I'm sure you have.
He lied about affluent social connections, right? Lied about how much money he had. He gets fired from all these jobs and he has all these excuses, right?
Many.
You decided when you got married this would fix it all, right?
I thought so, yeah. He
You
kept
thought,
telling me.
okay, what I have here is a pathological liar.
Yeah.
Apparently has no empathy for anyone. It's just only his feelings matter. But if I go to the courthouse and get some paperwork on him, that will fix it all.
Fix it all. Yeah.
What's a marriage license, $2?
I have no idea.
If you could fix this for $2, wouldn't
Yeah.
that put me out of business?
Right? Fix it
I go
all.
to the courthouse and get a marriage license,
Yeah.
Dr. Phil's out of business.
That's true.
And you got pregnant,
We already had, he was 6 months old at that point.
right? And then you got pregnant again.
I am now pregnant.
Y'all do understand how this,
Oh yeah, we were using protection somehow one night that didn't,
That didn't happen.
we had a couple drinks. He didn't use a condom like we were supposed to.
you think he did that on purpose?
I honestly, yes.
He's lied to you about jobs that he didn't really have,
Right.
but he would make you think he had a job.
Oh yeah.
But where was he going?
So he would just go hang out at the market all day.
At the market?
The grocery store. That's what he told me.
Yeah.
What do you mean you hang out at the grocery store?
No, I mean, yeah, I did go to the grocery store. Or
Oh,
I
I'm
went
an
to the
airline
mall.
pilot. I'm flying to Atlanta. Oh, I'm actually in the produce section? What the hell? Did this not...
Oh, it all registered at this point.
Were you tasered by the police?
No.
You said that you were tasered by the police.
Yeah.
You weren't tasered.
Nope.
You should be really glad I don't have a taser now.
When Chris found out we were coming on the Dr. Phil show, he's basically been watching Dr. Phil shows all day long, reading up on everything he can on Dr. Phil to try to get to know how Dr. Phil works, like what's his ways of talking.
How can you not know what the problem is?
So he can come on the show and be charismatic, be exactly what he's supposed to do and say, so he is not in any way, shape, or form going to be called out as the person that we all know him to be. After watching Dr. Phil myself, I want to believe that he's not going to be fooled by Chris. But then there's that little bit of me that wonders, well, maybe he will be fooled by Chris because Chris is just so good.
Well, Melisa says her husband Chris is a deceitful, manipulative, pathological liar who can't hold a job, although he does pretend to go to work. Now, Chris admits he has told so many lies, he can't even remember all of them. Well, Melisa says there's one lie that she will never forget. And it arrived by way of email. Let's see if Chris remembers this one.
One of the best lies that Chris has ever told me came in a form of an email. It was a fake email coming from a licensed counselor that is an actual person telling me that Chris has been seeing him for weeks now and that he was really making some great progress. I realized very quickly that this was Christopher writing me. Chris has a punctuation problem. He always puts a space after a sentence. He has horrible grammar. And then I looked up the guy's name and he spelled the name wrong. Melisa, I am your husband's therapist for the couple of weeks. And as I'm reading, there's things that aren't spelled right. He asked me, email you to give you confirmation that he has been seeing a licensed counselor and helping him overcome his problem and be a better man, husband, father. Christopher has come a long way since counseling with him. I can tell you that his problem can be conquered successfully. I also know that he has reached out to y'all's pastor, using the word y'all's as a professional. Christopher, from what I have learned, has a very big heart, so hold in there. He is doing really well. I have faith in y'all's marriage. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. Thanks, with no signature. And notice that he says email him and not call him. When I confronted Chris, he denied and denied and denied, and he finally said, okay, I did it. It's very sloppy work for Chris.
So what was your strategy there on that email?
I was desperate, I guess, to have her back in my life.
When you wrote this out, you say that he wants to be a better man, husband, and father. Now that tells me that you know that should be a goal, or you wouldn't have written that, right?
Right.
So you know that that must be important. Overcome his problem with lying, so you know that must be important. And you go on and say he's come a long way in his counseling. He's very determined. He does want to overcome this issue and to never hurt you, his family, and others around him. You're bringing this up, which tells me you must have, at least intellectually, awareness that that is happening, that you are hurting people. Why did you say that?
I mean, that's the truth. I mean, that's why I said it.
You say money is getting tight, but yet you continue to misappropriate funds. You say that it stems from his past, so you're looking for somewhere to lay the blame. You go on to try to motivate her. He's informed me that you're not wanting to move forward because you feel he will not change. You're more than welcome to come and join us, so you're going to run a little bit of a bluff here. Dealing with these types of cases, getting to know Chris, is to keep your head up. He is going to be a great husband, provider, and spiritual leader. I mean, you're really trying to mislead her. The problem here is, as she points out, you got a problem with spelling, you got a problem with, the truth is, you're just not a very good liar. Do you usually get away with it? I started to say be honest. What am I saying?
Can I chime in a little bit on that?
Do you get away with this sometimes?
I mean, I have in the past. Yeah, I have. Yeah.
I went through and I made a list of all the lies. It's staggering. But yet, you keep saying, okay, let's start again.
I do. I'm very naive. That's very naive. I want to believe that he can change. Every time he convinces me, he says all the right things. He'll tell me what I want to hear. I'll do this, and it gets convincing, and he knows what to say to me to get me to go, okay, well, that is what I want. So then, okay, so let's focus, and for a couple, maybe a month or two, things will be great, and then all of a sudden, bam.
Have you been honest with us?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I have. Yes, I have. Yes.
You sure about that?
Pretty sure, yeah.
You're pretty sure.
Yeah, I feel like I've been pretty honest with you guys about.
Pretty honest.
Honest, yes, I feel like I have. Yeah. Yes.
There aren't versions of the truth.
Yeah.
We asked you if you had been arrested.
Yeah.
In fact, we asked you several times if you had been arrested. When we asked you if you had been arrested, it was one time your answer was no. Do you have a criminal record? If yes, please describe your record. Your answer, no. Is that true?
I do have a criminal record, yes.
Are these answers true?
No.
Then we did a phone interview with you.
Right.
And we talked about this again. Let's hear this conversation, because as I say, we record these. Let's listen to this phone conversation.
Have you ever been arrested?
Yeah, I have. I got arrested for driving on a suspended license, and I got arrested twice on driving a suspended driver's license, and one time for marijuana, and one time for I was on a tent cell with a guy, and I got pulled over on the way home. I was on the road doing a tent cell, and one of the guys that rode with me, he had some stuff on him. Got pulled over, and we both got the hook on that. That was possession of cocaine, but I believe, as far as I know, that got expunged because I completed everything, and that's pretty much.
Okay, so this was no, but over here you said you actually got arrested 4 times. Twice for suspended license, once for marijuana, and once because you were with the guy that had some cocaine, but you think that got expunged.
Right.
Okay, so forget about this. This is the truth.
Yes.
Well, maybe not. Well, then we talked to you on camera. This was just on the phone, on camera. Let's take a look at this.
I have been arrested.
How many times have you been arrested?
How many times did I say?
I don't know. You didn't, I just asked. Oh, you said I was arrested.
1, 2, 3 times, 4 times.
I've been arrested 4 times.
What do you mean, what did I say?
Because my memory is, I'm bad with memory, and I kind of block that bad side out of my head. I don't like my past.
Well, the good thing about record keeping is you don't have to rely on memory.
Right.
You were arrested for possession of marijuana and alcohol by a person under 21 in 2007. You were arrested not for suspended license, but for larceny, theft, and fraud, impersonation, and false ID given. Then you were arrested for driving with suspended license. And then you were arrested for grand theft from a person over 65. So you did have 4 arrests, but they weren't for 2 suspended license and 1 marijuana and 1 cocaine by a friend that got expunged. There was a larceny, theft, and fraud, giving a false ID, and grand theft from a person over 65. You never mentioned the 2 larcenies, theft, and frauds at all, did you?
No.
But I just asked you, as I sat there in that chair, if you were being honest with us since you were here.
Right.
And you said yes.
Yes.
And that was a lie. You watched a lot of shows, studied me up.
Yeah.
Did you not notice that I do my homework?
Yeah. Yeah.
She may be blinded by love. I am unaffected. Because there was something you said and did at the end of your interview that we did with you that was just 2 seconds that reveals to me your true attitude about this. And here it is.
To be her Prince Charming.
Well, well, shoot, we were at the last question. It wasn't like that. That's like video. Because she was like, I got one more question for you, but I think that was the end. And I was like, it's over. I'm on a camera.
Bam.
So we gotta put that in there.
Bam.
It wasn't put out like that.
Chris has always treated me like an angel. But recently, when I finally decided to leave, he started treating me like I was dirt. He would say I'm a fat-ass, lazy bitch, and just threatened that he was gonna hurt me. He took air out of my tires so I couldn't go anywhere. He threatened to choke me if I would leave, and that night I ended up calling the cops. When I finally left him, my car started acting funny. On the next day, I broke down. Found out that there were wires and other things that were tampered with. I definitely suspect that he was the one that tampered with my car.
Chris admits he has a problem with telling the truth and says he's probably told his wife, Melisa, and family at least 1,000 lies. Chris's dad, Steve, says Chris has been lying since he was a child. Take a look.
My son Chris has been lying for as long as I can remember. And after 27 years, he's perfected his craft. When Chris was 18 years old, he made up like a 5-page contract for a motorcycle team for $180,000 a year. And all this was to impress a girl. A few years ago, Chris said he had a job at a health club. So my wife Karen and I went out and spent like $300 on all these clothes. He got up, got dressed, went to work every day, came home, and in fact, he had no job. At one point, I started my own company, making really great money. I wanted Chris to kind of learn the trade, and I would take him to work, and from day one, he wanted to be the supervisor. I would fire him 2 or 3 times a day, and he would just go sit in the truck and pout. He's never worked hard for anything in his life. I bought Chris probably 5 cars, and my mother probably bought him 3 cars. I cut Chris off in 2013. He'll still come to me and still try me anyway, but he might get a couple dollars. You know, I'm gonna feed him. You know, I'm not gonna make sure he's got a roof over his head. I'm not gonna leave my child out like that. I don't enable Chris, but I have helped him. And over the years, I would just say, Chris got me again. And it happens time after time. He's good.
Well, Chris's stepmom, Karen, says while she's only known Chris for 6 years, she's caught on to his manipulative behavior right away and says she actually gets a little satisfaction calling Chris out on his lies. Take a look.
Chris and I have a love-hate relationship. He confides in me when it's concerning his life, like with Melisa, but the hate part comes in because I confront him and don't let him get away with all his lies. I get very frustrated listening to Chris, and I get a little satisfaction out of confronting him, honestly. Mainly just to knock him down a level to let him know that he's not getting away with it. I'm worn out.
Well, Karen, Steve, thank you for joining us. You say that you don't enable him. What do you mean by that?
No, I've enabled him throughout his whole life. I mean, I'm sure I have. I say I haven't, but I have.
You know, we always talk about enabling. Enable is an overused word, so much that it's become a buzzword. What it really means is rewarding bad behavior. That's what enable means. Are you seeing him do something bad and you reward it by letting him escape accountability or paying him off in some way for doing it? That's what enable means. And based with that definition, simplified to that point, you have enabled him along the way, right?
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel any guilt at all for any of that?
I haven't, no.
Look, I haven't diagnosed him. It'd be improper for me to do so without doing, a complete workup and everything, but I can tell you what would be on my short list of considerations. One would be narcissistic personality. Take a look, see what you think. Karen, see what you think. These folks tend to have a grandiose sense of self-importance. They want to be supervisors, man. They're preoccupied with fantasies. I'm an airline pilot. Show me that house. They have a belief of being special and unique. They require excessive admiration. They have a sense of entitlement. I don't feel guilty about it. I mean, yeah, give me some money. They're interpersonally exploitive. They'll take advantage of everybody they have access to. They lack empathy. Feel guilty? Nah. They're envious of others, or they believe others are envious of them. And they show arrogant, haughty behaviors or attitudes. Bam! Yeah, I'm just saying, it would be on my short list of considerations. I mean, what do you think? Seem to fit his personality?
To the T.
Despite everything Chris has put Melisa through, she admits she's still paying some of his bills. I'm going to ask her about that, and then I'm going to talk about something that is the dark side of this. We'll be right back.
When Chris proposed to me, he proposed to me with the ring that I bought. Actually, I ended up opening up a credit card at the jewelry store to get the ring. I'm still paying for a ring that I had to buy myself. I believe that Chris pawned the wedding ring that I bought him. That's annoying, to say the least.
You know, there are different reasons why people lie. They do it to take what is not rightfully theirs, to escape accountability. So I didn't do that. They create a fantasy of false self-esteem to escape their mundane life. They think, you know, my life's boring. I'm not an airline pilot, so I'll just say I am. And they just really embellish. They do it to avoid punishment, to get out of something. That's one of the things. They do it sometimes to inflict pain, to just hurt the other person. They'll say something to hurt you. They do it to feel better in the moment, to steal admiration. They'll say that they did something, so people, oh, wow, congratulations. You know, they get a lot of slaps on the back. They do it to gain advantage so they can exploit others. You know, they worm their way in there to exploit others. So, you know, those are basically the reasons that people lie. Now, he's kind of hit all of these points with you, but this has turned ugly. I wrote down some of the things that I thought got really ugly. He has turned you in to the Department of Child and Family Services for being a bad mother.
Yeah.
He's tried to have your child taken away from you.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Correct. Yeah.
How is that okay with you?
It's not.
And you let him back in your door after he did that?
Long ways. A couple months later, yeah, I did.
Did he call the police on you? Did he report you for kidnapping?
Yeah. Yep.
Did he accuse you of kidnapping your child across state lines?
Across state lines, visiting them.
I wanted my son.
You accused her of kidnapping and turned her in to the Department of Child and Family Services, and your response was, I wanted to see my son. You didn't say, Dr. Phil, that I have to say was an absolute low point. I'm sorry, I'm ashamed. She didn't deserve that.
It was wrong, yeah.
I want my kid to have a normal life with a father that's normal.
And if you have a man here that has held you prisoner, is threatening to kill himself, which is emotional extortion, and you are knowingly subjecting your children to that exposure, that could very well fall under the definition of neglect. That you are failing to protect those children by subjecting them to someone that you know to be unstable, that you know to be exploitive, that you know to behave in that way. When the lies start breaking down, it turns ugly. Has this turned ugly? And it's after that you've taken him back. Has he done one thing to change himself in any way?
No.
You have an undivided loyalty, and it's to those children,
Yes, I know.
not to him.
Right. I agree.
What do you think about what we've been talking about here?
It's true, and it's
What do you think needs to happen?
change. You know, I don't want to be this way. And I do want a successful marriage and family.
You two are not together right now, right?
No.
Do you think he's changed at all?
No.
And while you've been here, he made you go in a room with him
Yeah.
and tried to be intimate with you. And you said no.
Yeah. And it
And-
made him mad.
Huh?
And it made him very mad.
And using the show as leverage.
He tried to threaten he wouldn't do the show if you didn't do it? Yeah. Okay. Just so we're very clear here, let me just be very clear here. You absolutely, unequivocally should not be involved with him at this point. I mean, absolutely, unequivocally. If that requires a restraining order, get one.
I've tried that before, yeah.
Well, you need to listen.
Yeah.
Somehow or another, you seem to try to minimize, trivialize, and mitigate everything. I say, did you let him back? Well, it was a couple of months. The answer was yes. I did let him back in. You seem to think like the fact that it was a couple of months later mitigated the fact that after he turned you in and tried to take your child away and accused you of kidnapping, that you let him back in. Your response was, well, it was a couple of months later. So that makes it okay. You seem to try to mitigate things. Stop mitigating and hear me. This is a black and white. You need to not be involved with him at this point, because I'm telling you, knowing what you know, your doing so makes your neglect foreseeable, and you will be held accountable. So I'm telling you, do what you want to do. All I can do is tell you.
And I appreciate that.
All I can do is tell you. And you can go, well, you know, it's been a while, and he seemed really sincere. You tell yourself all you want to tell yourself.
Exactly what I'm, yeah.
Yeah, but you do that, and I'm telling you, DCFS is going to get involved here, and you're going to wind up so shocked you won't believe what happens.
Okay.
I'm just trying to warn you.
No, I need that wake-up call. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
well,
just-
get it now,
I've
because
got-
you're on national television, and they watch
Right.
very closely. And if they see a mother subjecting their children to this, they will step in. It's my prediction, just my prediction. So I'm telling you, you need to stand your ground. He is not someone you need to be involved with at this point. You need serious help. And I'm willing to provide it for you in steps. In steps, okay? There's all kinds of help that I can provide for you that I think can really change your mindset, the way you problem solve, and so I'm gonna help you in stages. Fair enough?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Fair enough? Okay. All right. Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.